All right, welcome back. Like I said, the minister had said a lot, and it's time for us to quickly reflect on the things he said before we take a look at some of the other things that he has to say. The minister cleared the air, the minister cleared the air on a lot of issues. Some of us were wondering why was this concession thing, give the stadium to Lagos and all that. He explained all of that, you know, tying it to the issue of infrastructure in Nigeria. Why some things that look so easy tend to be problematic sometimes. And he also touched up on the National Sports Festival. Hate him or love him, you have to give him credit for that festival holding.
Yeah, definitely. You have to give him credit for that. If you look at how long it took us to have the National Sports Festival come back alive, 6 years, you have to credit him. And to think that he had to take the bull by the horn to say Abuja will definitely be the host after Cross River couldn't come up with the right facilities and the funding for the sports festival. Just like you said, I think you used the right word. Hate him or love him, you just have to credit him for this, because he also mentioned something that I believe is very important we should note from this sports festival. It means that in 6 years we have denied ourselves the opportunity of seeing new stars bloom in the Nigerian sporting scene. And that's what we saw at the National Sports Festival. Again, the more we have the sports festival, the more the issue of infrastructure will also drop in our lexicon as far as Nigerian sport is concerned. Because I believe that the more we have more states bidding to host, it means that they must put the facilities in place. Even if a state is not hosting, for example, Oyo State is not hosting, but they want to compete at the National Sports Festival, it means that for all the sports where they hope to win medals, they must provide the facilities for their athletes to train going to the festival. Because you can't go to the festival without having the right facilities to train your athletes. So it has a spiral effect of ensuring that all around, in all the 36 states and even the Federal Capital Territory, will be having decent enough facilities, at least for athletes to train and compete favorably when we have major competitions. So for me, as far as infrastructure is concerned, it's a major issue. And I think the angle of the minister is not too far from what I'm also hoping that pretty soon we will be having the Lagos National Stadium back alive. When you get to the national, there's no time you get to the national, except you've never been to that venue when it was really what it ought to be, that you won't feel, just like he said he shed tears. I think millions of us shed those tears almost on a daily basis.
Ministers before him shed tears
tears as well.
And nothing happened. Yeah. I'm hoping in his own case,
it will do beyond shedding tears.
Yes, because he said one of the things he wants to achieve before leaving office is that full concession, that everything is done, bring the private, private bodies, private corporations into it, and ensure that it is up and running. And are the hurdles too many?
Yeah, the hurdles are not too many, because he said something. Two things he put the poor infrastructure to. He said, number one, most of the facilities we have, he used the language, he said political project. That's one. That means we build these facilities without a plan of maintaining them.
No plan,
That's one. Two, he said, even the ones where funds are available for maintenance, some people are embezzling them. And the question I'm asking is, are there not supposed to be punitive measures towards these individuals? At least you know the individuals in charge. Because if you don't nip this in the bud, it means it will continue. If he has been on that seat for close to 4 years now, and nobody has been called to book, nobody has been brought to order, nobody has been asked questions about how they make use of these funds. For the minister to complete, that's the only minus I will say in what he has said tonight for me. Because the question now is, what have you done over the last 3.5 years concerning these infrastructures? The funds have been provided for the maintenance of these facilities.
And you're sure
you are not seeing the impact, and you're sure that it's been embezzled. I mean, we should be asking questions, and he is in the best position to ask those questions.
All right, and one thing that I think we should also touch on before we listen to the second part of that interview is the fact that we I don't know if it's just me. I'm very happy that Edo State began the quest to host the next edition of the National Sports Festival, when it looked as if the ministry was already going in one direction. It looked as if they wanted to pacify Cross River and say, okay, you guys will host the next election. But they came, they said, look, we're going to host this. Why this is important is it's even becoming a global trend now for countries to shy away from hosting major sporting events. United States, Italy, UK. There was one Commonwealth Games that South Africa was supposed to, so a lot of people complain about funds. But to see a state bring out a blueprint and convince whoever doing the selection and
yeah.
to convince them that they're ready.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah,
it's very, very huge. And it means that for the next 2 years, there will be some sort of stability for the athletes that want to prepare. So it's a win-win for us.
Yeah, it is a win-win for us. But again, you also must understand for a multi-sport tournament like the National Sports Festival, I honestly do not think every state in this country is ready to take the responsibility because you really do not have the facilities yet. And
as we speak.
And to start thinking that people have to build new facilities to start
from
scratch might be a major challenge. Maybe we have to look at those states with the comparative advantage to host, or maybe at some point we might also start considering co-hosting.
It's been floated.
Because just like you said, the Olympics is also struggling to get willing candidates to host the Olympics because of the size
of it.
It's a global thing.
So we shouldn't just think
it's not
that
just a Nigerian thing.
Yeah.
The only thing for me, which we must try to avoid in the Nigerian contest, like the Cross River Hood, is that when you bid and you win the hosting right, you must do your bid at least to host. The fact that the National Sports Festival has to be, for me, I use the word comatose for 6 years because of a particular state not coming up with the right facility after bidding for it is definitely not good enough.
So we should be able to wield the big stick if whoever wins the bid is not able to step up and, of course, ready to host all of this. And of course, you know that when a state is ready to host, a lot of activities can start going on simultaneously. The states can prepare, the athletes can prepare, all the activities around the games. And, the athletes have a healthy calendar. It's not as if you're training, you don't know if you're going to participate. All of those issues are not good for our athletes to be dealing with. All right, let's move on the show. Of course, I told you that, of course, that interview also has a second part. So let's listen to some of the other issues raised by the sports minister in his review of what has gone down under his watch and how he hopes to move things forward in sports in Nigeria.
Let's take a look at sports in Nigeria in 2018. How can you describe it?
The number of medals Nigeria has held in 2018 is incomparable to any year of our history. And then the advancement in terms of our performances. I mean, in women basketball, the Tigers set an African record, being the first African country in 100 years to qualify to quarterfinals in basketball. The tradition has been that if you are going for World Cup in basketball, they book accommodation and visa for African countries for the first round only, because none of them have ever passed the first round. But in 2018 in Spain, they have to live with Nigeria and they keep adjusting their visa requirement and accommodation till the end. Now, our team, having dismantled 3 strong nations of the world, had to also qualify to play for their ranking. And from the 32nd in the world, they came to number 8 in the world. When we were moving out of the stadium in Spain, African countries came and lined up with joy and they were waving flags. That is a world record. Today, Scrabble, which is more or less of an English game, is a Nigerian game now. If you were at the National Sports Festival, if you see the number of young people playing Scrabble, it's amazing. Young people. We are world champions, 2 times world champion, and we are 12-time world African champions in Scrabble. Our girls, the Super Falcons, 9-time African champions. Our badminton team went to Zambia, played the Zambian International Championship, emerged champions. So everywhere the story is success. Today, our powerlifters have consistently maintained world records So if we are going for any international competition, you don't challenge Nigeria. In wrestling, we have world records. All this to us is a very good omen. So 2018, I think, set a tune of hope for sports in Nigeria.
The success story is good for 2018, but Honorable Minister, does it worry you that funding and welfare of athletes is still a major problem to our sports?
Yeah, it is not only worrying me, but I think it has always been calibrating my BP. Funding, I think in 2019, I'm tempted to think that there is a need for a stakeholders conference where we will bring both the state governors, the state government, the federal government, the National Assembly together so that experts could come and educate them on the need for funding. The welfare of athletes. Our attitude under my watch is that once we write a budget, it is the athletes we are targeting. I have directed and maintained you must pay athletes directly. Nobody is going to give any money to the federation where they will collect the money and tell the athletes that, oh, after the competition, they will say, no, government say, okay, you go, and no, there is nothing like that. So if I'm going for an international competition, I go with the cashier and the accountant. There is this policy that if you medal in gold, $5,000, silver, $3,000, bronze, $2,000. Every international competition, every athlete that has measured is paid right there. Right there. Even though there is a problem in football that the players are now writing me messages and complaining. And they said the 2016 Super Falcons who came back and demonstrated, they said they have not been paid. But they came, they protested, and then because I wrote a memo, if that money was released, we would have paid them in Cameroon. But because the memo was delayed, they came back, the memo was worked upon, the money that was provided was paid to the federation immediately. So I was wondering why some people would not have been paid and they are still complaining now. Now, these are the problems of the welfare of athletes. When I came into sports, one sports stakeholder came to me and said, sir, you are a new man, but I will tell you something. In sports, we plan to fail more than success. And I asked him, I said, what do you mean? He said it's more profiting to fail in sports than success. I said, can you explain the theory? Then he said, okay, if you are going for, let's say, African World Championship, you plan for the first round, the second round, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then finals. And every of this level has its own budget. He said if the entire figure is about 1 billion, and then the team crash out in the first round, you see the balance of the money belongs to the federation.